Salut à tous et bienvenue dans Story Série saison 2, épisode 3. Cette semaine, nous avons rendez-vous avec un des comédiens les plus emblématiques du monde des séries, l'immense Michael Imperioli, dont le visage est à jamais celui de Christopher Moltisanti, neveu charismatique et destructeur de Tony Soprano. À 52 ans, dont 30 passés devant la caméra, l'acteur prolonge le travail commencé en signant des scénarios de films et de quelques épisodes des Sopranos et sort son premier roman, le très beau Wild Side. Un récit initiatique doux amer dans lequel le jeune Matthew va passer doucement à l'âge adulte sur fond de rock'n'roll et de cœur brisé, au cœur du New York des années 70.
In the book, there is a very particular sense of detail and a way of expressing a scene and showing everything that's in the scene, what people are eating, what it looks like, the music in the air, everything. And I had read that for that kind of details, David Chase was one of your influences or someone who showed you that this is how you make things alive. How did it come together?
He was very influential in terms of detail being very important. Like in Soprano scripts, nothing was ever taken for granted. So if he wrote, or one of the writers wrote in a script, say a very minor character, like a delivery boy comes in and he's wearing the French national soccer shirt and he has a Yankee hat on. And he maybe has one line or no lines, but on the day when that scene is shot, that actor better have that shirt, that French soccer shirt and the Yankees cap. David Chase said that. He related a lot to the book when he read it, David. He really, he was very complimentary about it and really, I think he really understood what I was trying to do with it, so I was happy.
To me, he's the scariest person on earth.
He can be intimidating because he's a little bit poker face, you know.
Commendatore. Buongiorno. Cocksuckers.
Well, when I first auditioned for him, I didn't know who he was, I didn't know what he had done, and I did some scenes, and I think he might have, I don't remember if he gave me direction or he didn't give me direction, but I thought he hated me. I thought,
he's scary.
I swear to God, I walked out of that room and I thought, I'll never get this job. I don't know if I even want this job. And this guy, I mean, he obviously did not like what I did, and it was the exact opposite.
It says in these movie writing books that every character has an arc. You understand? Like everybody starts out somewheres, and they do something, something gets done to them, changes their life. That's called their arc. Where's my arc?
Next year, it's gonna be 20 years since The Sopranos started.
Yeah.
What do you see when you look back? What do you feel?
See, that show is very special for a lot of reasons. A lot of those people I had worked with before, because in New York, first of all, New York, the television film community is much smaller than it is in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And then the Italian-American community is even smaller. So Vincent Pastore, Tony Sirico, Lorraine Bracco, Edie Falco, I had all worked with before, and I had all known. Going to work was like going down the corner to hang out with your friends every day. And the fact that we were really proud of it, and it became so successful, made it really special. And I'm, mostly known as more for that for anything, but that's okay with me because it's something that I think I'm just really proud to be a part of.
Well, I bet you're part of a revolution only once in your life.
Yeah.
And it was a real revolution.
If it's going to be one thing, that's a good one to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Une grande et belle révolution, c'est bien ce qu'a été Les Sopranos dès son lancement en janvier 99. Comment une bande de mafieux du New Jersey a-t-elle tout changé? Réponse en 3 actes. Scénariste et producteur à la télé depuis les années 70, David Chase se rêve cinéaste. En réalité, il exècre le petit écran.
Fucking Emmy. It's gold-plated. Melt it down, man. Look, I told you $15.
Oh, fuck, man, come on! This is like huge, this shit.
If you had an Oscar, maybe I could give you something. An Academy Award. But TV.
Dès le pilote des Sopranos qu'il réalise lui-même, tous ses désirs de cinéma sont assouvis.
Hi, Jack. Bye, Jack.
Il en soigne chaque plan, chaque lumière, chaque mouvement et conçoit chaque épisode de la série comme un film. Ses références sont David Lynch, Martin Scorsese, Francis Ford Coppola, Stanley Kubrick ou encore William Wellman. Au fil des saisons, David Chase négocie des jours de tournage supplémentaires, passant de 7 à une vingtaine, une grande première à la télévision. À l'époque, cette attention portée à la réalisation est encore rare, mais pour le showrunner, écriture et image doivent être traitées au même niveau. Lorsque nous faisons sa connaissance dans le pilote de la série, Tony Soprano entame une thérapie, accablé par des crises de panique et la cruauté de sa mère.
What's that?
CD player.
For who? For me? I don't want it.
5 épisodes plus tard, il tue un homme à main nue tandis qu'il fait le tour des universités avec sa fille Meadow. Le héros des Sopranos est un criminel et nous allons apprendre à l'aimer.
We are a family.
Cruel et sensible, imposant et silencieux, Tony Soprano est un des personnages les plus ambivalents et mal aimables du petit écran.
What's wrong? You all right? Is it his heart? No, it's this fucking weather. Sudden changes.
Sans lui, ni Don Draper, ni Walter White, ni Nurse Jackie, ni Hank Moody n'auraient vu le jour. Le anti-héros a enfin trouvé sa place.
I don't fucking live with my mistress. These fucking slippers.
Après 86 épisodes, la famille Soprano a tiré sa révérence avec une brutalité telle qu'on en parle encore une décennie plus tard. Plutôt que de boucler son récit, David Chase choisit de s'en éloigner pour le laisser continuer sans nous. Alors que 12 millions d'Américains pensent que leur écran est cassé, David Chase s'amuse. Personne ne saura jamais si Tony Soprano se fait descendre en mangeant ses beignets d'oignons ou pas. Tandis qu'il s'attire les foudres des spectateurs, David Chase libère les auteurs des séries futures, les affranchissant de l'obligation de proposer une fin satisfaisante ou rassurante.
So I solved a major problem business-wise. Put a very good piece of manpower to work.
La série se referme alors comme un livre.
Telling me when you fell in love with words, with writing or even reading?
I was a reader from when I was little, you know, and my mother always bought me books when I was a kid. And then I had a couple of very good teachers when I was a young boy who turned me on to good literature. So, and the writing came around the same time, just wanting...
As a kid?
Yeah, just wanting to express, you know, myself in some way and not really knowing what I'm doing. And so writing was always kind of there, but it took me a long time before I finished something.
Yeah.
And knew what I wanted to say. And by the time I was 30, I had a stack of stuff. And it was all just junk, and I had never finished anything. And then one day I threw everything in the garbage.
So, when do we get to read this opus?
I flushed it a long time ago.
And it was very liberating. And then I started working on a screenplay with another writer. And that wound up becoming the Spike Lee movie, Summer of Sam, because I finally figured out what I could say through it, you know?
When you wrote for The Sopranos, you write for television, you have a crew, you're not alone, you can share ideas, and then you write a book and you're on your own, and it's a new fear. I mean, it's if you're stuck, you're stuck. So how do you deal with those two moments that are very different?
You know, when you write screenplay or teleplay, the script is a blueprint, right? It's schematic for the finished product. It's not a work unto itself. And and filmmaking and television is such a collaborative medium. And there were certain projects that I had written and I was passionate about that I couldn't get made. And it was very frustrating dealing with the whole machinations of Hollywood, I guess. And books being really my love even more than film or television, like reading books and literature. So I was like, well, at least the book is the end to itself. It's not like you have a book and now you have to go get a producer. Well, you have to get a publisher, but you don't have to get someone to help realize the project, right? So
it's freedom.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Of the script? Babe, I can't, like, give an opinion every time you add a sentence. I gotta have the whole story flow.
I'm starting with the dialogue.
In the book, you have a scene before Matthew and his mom move where they are watching television together. And his mom is watching TV at night, honeymooners and shows like that. What did TV represent to you when you were young?
In New York in the 70s, so like when I was a kid, when I was a teenager, in the summer, so we'd hang out all night and then go in like at 11 or something, and there would either be the Honeymooners or the Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
Do you know the Twilight Zone?
Yeah.
That was always on around 11, 11:30. So I'd always wind up watching that either with my parents or my brother. And it's just something nostalgic and just kind of true to the time period. But yeah, that New York that I fell in love with, which was really like, it was like magic, you know, does not really exist anymore. It's very different, I'll say.
Did you feel that there was also a sense of nostalgia in The Sopranos?
Oh, yeah. I mean, and especially in their world.
Jesus Christ, you think there never was a Michelangelo, where they treat people?
Did you know that an Italian invented the telephone?
Alexander Graham Bell was Italian?
You see? You see what I'm talking? Antonio Meucci invented the telephone, and he got robbed. Everybody knows that.
Who invented the mafia?
What?
La Cosa Nostra. Who invented that?
Who cares?
Wasn't it Salvatore Lucana, better known as Charlie Lucky Luciano, who organized the 5 families? Lucchese, Gambino, Bonanno, Profaci.
Is there something you want to say to me?
When the Italian Americans came, they lived in small neighborhoods, like pockets, like Little Italy or the Belmont section in the Bronx. When I grew up, all my mother's family, my father's, everybody, all the cousins, all the aunts and uncles were in like a 3-mile radius. Year by year by year, generation by generation, they dispersed all over the place. And not only did they disperse all over the place, distance-wise in different parts of the country, the connection to the roots kind of dispersed in a way and dissipated a bit. The traditions of it and the cultural connection to it, to being Italian. And I think the characters in The Sopranos all are going through that.
I guess when you are an actor, or even a screenwriter, you don't write for yourself. You write for a crew, you write for an audience, you write for your director, you write for your fellow actors, you write for everybody. And then you end up in your office writing your book, and no matter what, it's yours and it's your voice. And do you feel like it's what you've done the most personal so far?
Yes, definitely. My parents took me to see good movies and even some theater when I was young. So they were very instrumental in me having a love for that, you know. And my father was a bus driver in the Bronx. When I was 14, he was 40. When he was 40, he started doing community theater, like amateur plays. Out of nowhere. Had never acted before. I wasn't an actor. Which was very courageous to get on a stage at 40, being a bus driver, and all of a sudden, and there was that kind of element in my growing up, you know.
Just like your dad, you decide to do something brand new.
Right.
Maybe somehow it inspired you to do that.
Maybe.
No.
Maybe. Yeah, that's true.
Quiet, please. Roll up.
Story Série, c'est terminé. La semaine prochaine, on quitte la mafia pour retrouver Paul Feig, créateur vénéré de la cultissime Freaks and Geeks. Celui qui oscille entre petit et grand écran depuis 20 ans nous parlera de sa culture série et de son nouveau film, le joyeux thriller L'ombre d'Emily. Allez, à la semaine prochaine.